So I have a confession to make, and the confession is about my favorite frame that I've used so far for skating. That frame is this one, which is the Endless 90 from Endless Blading. And as you can see here, it is a four-wheeled frame. These are 4x90, and it is slightly rockered, so the front and rear wheel are slightly higher by default on this frame than the middle two wheels. But this is not exactly what the confession is about. What I'm here to confess about is this version of the same frame. So this, if you didn't know, is also the Endless 90, but this is the 3x110 millimeter flat setup that comes on the same frame. As you can see with these extra holes, if I had four wheels, they'd be in here. And if I have three, you know, the third one goes in the middle. So you can see they're the same frame, right? But two different setups. And the confession is simple. It's that I use this configuration and actually like it. I got these frames in February of 2021, and I did not try the 3x110 flat configuration until April of 2022. So I spent 14 months riding this setup and loving every minute of it, but I guess essentially refusing to try this. By the way, when I say it's my favorite frame, it's the favorite frame of the ones that I have used, and those include this Endless 90, obviously. Also, the Endless 100, which I have on my FR1 Deluxes here, which is similar to the 90. These wheels are worn, but this is a 4x100 rockered or also 3x110 flat. I also have the 5x80 millimeter NN Dragon, which is also rockered. So why wouldn't I try this setup on my favorite frame when I've got these Endless 90s that I love, I've got the Endless 100 that I love, I've already pre-ordered the Endless Arc, pre-ordered the 5x76, which is going to be similar in some ways to this NN Dragon. It's going to be shorter because it's going to be 5x76 instead of 5x80. Anyway, I have nothing but good things to say about all of the Endless products I've tried. And so why would I sit here on my favorite frame and ignore the Tri-Skate setup on them for 14 months? And the reason is simple. It's because it's the flat version of the setup. I bought these frames because I was interested in the rocker for a few reasons. I wanted a longer wheelbase for a little more stability. I wanted the rocker just for general agility. I also wanted the rocker because, you know, wizard style flatland skate tricks interested me. More about the agility and the mobility really than wizard skating per se. But it just fit my needs perfectly. And I think for my foot length, which is 265 millimeters, and the style of skating that I do, if you look at the city skating videos I have on this channel, you see how I like to skate. This frame is really just perfect for me. I love it. By the way, Endless has nothing to do with this video. Everything I've said up to this point, at least on my channel, has been 100% my opinion and 100% out of my pocket to try. So I do use this setup regularly. I don't use it every time, but I do use it. And so, yeah, this video was basically just to show some love to this frame that I really do adore. I should really do like a full-on review of the Endless 90, probably in my Endless 100 as well. Even though I'm kind of late to the party, there's plenty of review footage out there. But anyway, I'll leave you with some footage and maybe some narration on, you know, how I use these frames and why I like them. So this first clip here is a great example of why I'm kind of kicking myself for not trying the 3x110 on these frames sooner. And as you can see here, I am in the suburbs. I know that most of the videos on my channel I'm skating the city, and that's because the stuff that I upload to YouTube, I want to be the more interesting stuff I'm doing on skates, and the scenery is a lot cooler. There's more to do in Center City, Philadelphia when I'm skating, or skating anywhere more urban, right? But I live in the suburbs, so when I skate the city, I drive in, I park somewhere, and I skate. And I love doing that. But that's one out of maybe 8 or so skate sessions, probably more than that. Yeah, probably like 1 in 8 sessions I'm actually in the city. Most of my sessions, I'm out here cruising the suburbs. And you don't see a lot of that on my channel, again, because I don't think it's as interesting. But this is a prime example of a great use for this 3x110 setup. You get a lot of speed, and once you build that speed up, you hold the momentum really well, and it doesn't take as much effort to keep going. This is a beautiful stretch of road here. It's pretty good road surface most of the way. I'm really lucky with the traffic lights. As you can see, this is a double yellow line, so I really don't belong here. There's not much of a shoulder. You'll notice how many times I'm actually looking over my shoulder behind myself to make sure I'm safe, and actually right there you see, or maybe soon, I think pretty soon I notice a car. And that's why I look back so much, is so that I can see the car way in advance of when it's actually going to be a problem for me, or really more likely I'm a problem for the car. And in this video here, you'll see that happen, where I kind of acknowledge to the car right there behind me. I see you. I know I'm not supposed to be here. Anyway, this is a line I wouldn't normally skate, even in the suburbs, with like a 4x90 or 4x80 or something like that. And so I found myself seeking out these kinds of roads, and these kinds of longer lines where I can get more speed. And I got really lucky with the lights here. But this is a line I wouldn't have necessarily sought out or enjoyed as much on like a 4x90. So here we have another clip where, again, the name of the game is going fast with these big wheels. But it's not, the one thing I want to point out in this clip is that it's not just going fast. It's not that you just get a good rolling momentum with the bigger wheels. It's also the fact that it is a flat setup, which, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is why I didn't want to try it. But honestly, you feel, or I feel, so locked in on a flat frame, especially at 276 millimeters, which is the wheelbase on these frames. I just feel so locked in. I feel like I'm skiing, I'm going pretty fast here, and I'm not a downhill skater by any stretch, but I do love a good hill bomb, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. Doing some soul slides, a little T-stopping, to just slow down just enough to make that turn there. But what I can do is keep pushing. You see, I'm still using my legs. I'm not just completely coasting. And I think that's because I feel so locked in and stable. To be clear, though, I don't feel unstable on the rockered version of this, the 4x90 rockered, because it is such a subtle rocker. But I feel super locked in when it's flat. And so it really gives me more comfort as I go down at higher speeds like this. And of course here, just one more clip of just some downhill fun that I have on this setup and these frames. Same general area actually you just saw in the previous clip. I'm realizing how lucky I am to have some of these areas to skate in, actually, relatively close to where I live. And actually this particular set of parking lots and office buildings here is where I've done a lot of magic slide and sliding practice. It's a really great place for me to kind of hone my skills there. This one's just another example of exploration and venturing out and seeing areas I haven't seen on my skates until I started using these 3x110 setup. This was literally the first time I'd ever skated this line out in the suburbs. And I feel like the 3x110 setup kind of just draws me to these places that I don't skate regularly. And it gets me to venture out because I can cover more ground with less effort. And so it just, kind of encourages me to get out a little more. And again, I'm going downhill in this one again because you don't necessarily want to see me skating just completely flat roads in a video, or at least I don't think you do. But these are some of the more memorable lines that I had gotten out and found as a result of trying this new setup. And so I do really get a lot of enjoyment out of this. And I think the other thing that's really important to note too is that because I do both city and suburb skating, the huge deal with these frames is that you can just swap the wheels. So there's no, I change my wheels I don't change them, I'm sorry. I rotate them every 2 sessions anyway. So getting into a different setup is literally as easy as, instead of putting 4 wheels back on, put 3 back on, and then bam, you've got a completely different setup. And so I can choose to do that any old session and just say, you know what, I'll do 3x110 today. Why not? So I mentioned in the other clip, or in the previous clip, that I don't just cruise downhill on these frames, but that I can actually keep my stride going and keep pushing instead of just cruising. And this clip right here is a perfect example of that. You can see I'm still pushing. And again, the reason I'm still pushing, it's not like this is some insane hill or anything, but you can see I'm moving pretty fast. And that push feels totally comfortable. I don't feel unsafe doing that nice hard push even though I'm already going fast, and that's because it's a flat setup and I just feel so locked in and stable, really. And that's, I don't know if you can hear that, that's my phone alarm going off telling me lunch break should probably be over soon. I should probably head home. This is a place I skate at lunch a lot. One of the joys from working from home, for sure. So yeah, it turns out I don't mind the 3x110 flat, even though it's flat. Is it my favorite setup? No, but I still like it. I still use it a lot. In this last clip I wanted to include to show that, I didn't really mention it, but everything I do on these frames, or my 4x90, I can also do on the 3x110, and that's why I included these magic slides right here. But that's basically it for this video. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me talk about skating the suburbs of Philadelphia. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.